Hi guys! So I wanted to make a real sort of review of the hair dyes that I've used so far. I'm standing in the bathroom and filming in here, partly because the lighting is much better than it is in my room right now because the glass in here is not clear because we don't want people looking in, and partly because it is relevant because I am making a video about hair dye. So you can see what my hair is right now, and I'll tell you the process of how I got to what it looks like now. So the first hair dye I used was Directions Plum, and the hair dye that I just finished dyeing my hair with recently was Special Effects and what color is this? Virgin Rose. So now we'll go through a level by level process of comparing the two, I guess. So in terms of consistency, this hair dye is really thick. I added a little bit of conditioner, I don't know how much to it, in order to actually get it to like go on my hair properly. And this one is a pretty good consistency, but as you can see, I needed more of this. So in terms of color, I did a copious amount of research in order to figure out what color I wanted originally, and the one I ended up picking was the Directions Plum because it had a sort of reputation for being really dark. It's a blue-based purple, and it actually came out too dark on my hair. And what happened with this dye was that the way that the dye works, it looks like they basically took certain combinations of cyan, magenta, and yellow. With the plum, it was just a large amount of blue and a little bit of magenta, and what happened was that the magenta washed out really quickly. Like when I dyed it and washed out the dye the first time, most of the color that came out was magenta, and then as the flow sort of decreased, slowly it became more and more blue, and by the end of a few days of being in the sun, it had like basically turned completely blue. With the special effects, I found that the color was actually made of the color. Like when I dyed it, it didn't come off on the latex with different colors at all. And since it's a lighter color, it's very pink based. So on, I think a lot of hair it might turn out much more pink than it did on my hair. What I did was, since I had a lot of blue in my hair from the Directions Plum, I just added the Virgin Rose on top, and that's what made this darker purple color. And actually on the top of my hair right here, just from washing my face, this part of my hair had already basically shed most of the plum dye. So that's what the Virgin Rose should look like on normally bleached hair that is at around like a blonde level. In terms of how much it stains, Special Effects is definitely way better. So here you can see some footage of what happened in the tub after I had washed out the dye on both occasions. And what you don't see is that the Directions Plum actually dyed basically my entire hand blue for a couple of days. Whereas with the Virgin Rose, right now my hands are pretty normal looking. My nails are very slightly pinker than they should be, but the pink just adds a sort of natural sort of looking tint that just makes my nails not look as pale as usual. So that was pretty nice, I guess. The amount of dye that came out when washing is also really different. Special Effects is much better. When it was washing out, it didn't look like all of the dye had washed out compared to the Directions Plum, which was just like, whoa, what is this huge mess of color? And so far it hasn't faded at all in a week, whereas the Directions Plum actually had turned blue by the third day. So yeah, I'm really satisfied with the Special Effects, and it really does stay in so much better. We'll see what happens in the next like couple of months, but I'm planning on using this for a long time, and I don't know what I'm gonna do about the Directions. So there you go. That's just two dyes that I have worked with, and I feel like Special Effects really does live up to its reputation of being the most long-lasting semi-permanent hair dye, and I really like the way that my hair has turned out. So that's it. So I hope you have a great day, and you will see me again on Tuesday. Bye! Because it had a sort of reputation for being really